If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. You heard me, it's free. What's better than that, right? Anchor also makes it easy by giving you creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will also distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more listening platforms. Best of all, you can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started so that your voice can be heard.
What's up, Straight Talk Society? This is your host, Trevor, and I'm back with another episode of Straight Talk with Trevor, the podcast where no topic is off limits. I know what some of you might be saying, hey, I thought season 2 was over with. It is, but I got something I want to talk about tonight, and it couldn't wait until next month, so I decided to drop a bonus episode for you guys. First off, I do thank everyone for the love and support that they showed for the last episode that I did with Elder Corey and Daniel. How do we get back? It's well received. People seem to love when I have the preachers come in and talk to them. And I really enjoyed that episode, and I hope that they will join me back in the studio at a later date. So tonight, I was at work today, and a lot was on my mind. My mind was real heavy, man, because a lot's been going on. Even a lot that I don't really share, a lot that I don't really talk about. So tonight is just going to be an episode just encouraging the fellas. I know sometimes I get on here and I bash the fellas. My guests bash the fellas. And you know, I just want my brothers to do better in life. That's why I'm so hard on you guys. And one thing you will notice in this episode, I'm coming to you solo. Season 2, I've always had a guest with me, and I love the guest format. But tonight, I just want to get back to my roots and talk to the Straight Talk Society one-on-one. So I'm going to set this up. I'm going to come out the Bible, actually. Oh, big surprise. Trevor's coming out of the Bible again. And regardless of what you think about the Bible, regardless of what you think I think about the Bible, I think the Bible is a great tool. The stories in it, I believe some of them, I will say that. Some of them are a little far-fetched. But I think in all the Bible stories, you could learn a lesson from them. I think it's a book filled with allegory. There's some truth. I believe there's truth. I believe there's all truth, but I don't think it's the way we think, like word for word. This happened, the donkey was talking, and this and that. I don't believe that. I believe that it's allegory. It all serves a bigger purpose to lead us somewhere else, to drive us to another plateau. So tonight I want to just read a couple verses of scripture. Sound like back in my preaching days. I want to come out of 1 Kings chapter 19, and what verse am I looking for? Okay, let's start at verse 4, then we're going to jump down. But it says, he himself went a day's journey into the wilderness and came and sat down under a juniper tree. And he requested for himself that he might die. Now we're talking about the prophet Elijah. And said, it is enough. Now, O Lord, take away my life, for I am no better than my fathers. I want to go down to verse 9, and this will be the last one I read. And he came unto a cave and lodged there, and behold, the word of the Lord came unto him, and said unto him, What are you doing here, Elijah? And that's what I want to ask my brothers tonight. I'm not going to preach no sermon, but I do want to talk to you guys. And I want to pose it in the form of a question. What are you doing here? You know, I know, fellas, I know that life is very hard. We literally have the weight of the world on our shoulders. And sometimes our circumstance don't make it any easier. And if you feel like me, sometimes you can get so overwhelmed that you just feel like, man, it's just too much. Here we have a story of the prophet Elijah, and again, I think that this story serves as a jump off point, because here we have a man that called fire down from heaven. No one knew where he came from. He just kind of arrived on the scene, and he shut up heaven so it didn't rain for like 3.5 years or 4.5 years. I forget which one it was. And this guy just killed all the prophets of Baal, and he's like on the highest of highs. And then word got to Jezebel, and she threatened to kill him. And now here he is asking God to just take his life. Now, I know a lot of us, we deal with Jezebels every day in our walk of life. And I'm not talking about just women. Again, I think the Bible is a book of allegory. I don't think necessarily that when we speak about Jezebel, in this case, they were talking about a woman. But I don't think when you relate it to terms in our life today, that Jezebels aren't limited to just women. I mean, Jezebel presents a stumbling block. And as men, we face a lot of stumbling blocks in life. And I just speak for me, I feel like I'm always overworked, underpaid. You don't feel like you just measure up all the time. You try to be the best husband and father that you can be. And even though your family, tells you that you do good, somewhere in the back of your mind, sometimes you feel like, damn, I probably still could have done better. And then we fall into this depression. And I just want to share with you guys tonight that I kind of realize I may have been depressed. I mean, I go to work every day. I do what I got to do. I'm the man of my house. I take care of home. I take care of my wife. I take care of my daughter. I handle my shit like I'm supposed to as a man. But down on the inside, I feel like I just feel depressed sometimes. And I think that as men, we deal with our depression in different ways. But for me, I deal with it where I go into a cave. Just like the prophet, he went into a cave. And then God asked him, the angel asked him, what are you doing here? Sometimes we go into these caves and we never come out. We just get so fed up with life that we live our life out of this cave. We can still function. We become cave dwellers. We can still function our daily life. We can still be a husband. We can still be a dad. We can still go to work every day. We can still pay taxes. We can still do everything that needs to be done. But deep down on the inside, we're living in a cave. We're functioning out of a cave. And the problem is, who's our outlet? Who do we talk to? Who do we talk to when things get so rough, when the weight of the world is on your shoulder? You're you don't want to complain too much because your spouse or your girlfriend or whoever, they may have had just as equally shitty day as you had. So you know, as men, what we do, we kind of hold back, so we don't let our feelings show. So we'll let them go ahead and display all the feelings, but deep down inside, we're like, man, I wonder if anybody cares about me. I wonder if anybody hears me. I wonder if anybody really sees me. I know they see me, but do they really see me? Do they really see the effort that I'm putting forth? Do they really see the struggles that I face on a daily basis? Do they really appreciate what I go out and put myself through on a daily basis? And I know all my brothers, you guys, a lot of times we don't ever say that stuff because we don't have an outlet. We did a tribute episode a couple of weeks ago to my late uncle that passed, and Dwayne said something so right. He said, you know, we were always taught as boys that you don't cry. But when you teach a boy that he doesn't cry, he becomes a man that doesn't cry. He becomes a man that holds his feelings in. He becomes a man that bottles it all up. And he becomes a man that goes into a cave. And the problem sometimes with going in the cave is you don't realize that you're in that cave and that you don't come out. So my brothers, I would just want to tell you tonight that depression is real. And I don't want to come off like I'm just this big depressed guy and I want to kill myself and everything. No, that's not it. But sometimes you have to know the signs. You got to get help. You got to talk to somebody. And I use this podcast as my outlet a lot of times because it's easier for me to communicate through just getting in front of this microphone. It's crazy because I can say all these things in front of a bunch of strangers, but I feel like comfort right now talking to all you guys, and I just want to serve. I just want to be some help to my brothers out there, man, because I know, man, life is hard, man. This system beats our ass every single day. This job that we call being a man, being a black man in this country is high risk, low reward. And God forbid that we don't feel appreciated, because it just takes that reward down even lower. And I don't know what it is. I'm just reaching out to my brothers. Just hear what I'm saying. It's the holiday season and everybody's supposed to be festive and happy and this is a joyous time. But what about my brother out there that just lost his mom? What about my brother out there that just lost their dad or just lost any other loved one? And now he's going in the cave. What about the brother out there that just lost his job and he was planning on doing all these big things for his family for Christmas, and now he can't do it because he doesn't know where his next paycheck is coming from? Now he's gone into a cave. What about my brother that's out there that's just been dealing with the mental abuse, the frustration? His spouse isn't acting right. He doesn't feel loved by anyone. And he goes into a cave. This is my plea to you to come out of that cave. Seek some help, man. We're going into 2022, and it's not taboo anymore to say that we need some counseling. Us as men, we need counseling. We need to heal from some shit that has been plaguing us since our childhood. I remember when I spoke to my cousin Kevin earlier this season, He said his therapist is what got him through. And if you go back and listen to that episode, Love and Pride, from the perspective of a black male, you never know, man. Sometimes you just need a sounding board. Sometimes you just need someone to talk to. And I implore my brothers, man, I implore you to get out of this cave. Getting under another woman isn't going to do it. Going out and getting drunk and getting high off all type of drugs and stuff like that is not going to do it. You cannot come out of this cave unless you face it head on. And the first thing about facing something is admitting that there is a problem, admitting that there is some depression going on somewhere deep down inside. And then you ask for help. I'd love this platform to be a platform for everyone, that they can come in and just, they can call me and they could join the live or whatever. And I'm going to start doing Zoom conferences soon, where you can come on and we just dialogue one to another. Because with men, we don't really have, men get together and men will talk about the game. Men get together, men talk about women, men talk about money, men talk about cars, men talk about everything else, but men don't talk about their mental health. And it's time out, man. We've been abused for so long. I've been working at my job for 18 years. 18 years out of my life, and it's this year I finally realized these people are trying to kill me. They may not be physically trying to kill me. They may not even know that they're doing it. But the environment that they're creating for me is not healthy anymore. It's toxic. It's not an environment for me to be in anymore. And I just feel like I need a mental break. I need a mental reset. Sometimes I come home, I'm so frustrated from working 10, 12 hours a day, that when I get home to my house that I love, I got to sit outside in the parking lot for 10 to 20 minutes. Sometimes my wife will say, if she doesn't see me come home by a certain time, she'll send me a message and ask me, am I coming home? Like, where am I? And I don't even tell her, man, I've been sitting in the parking lot for the past 10 minutes, 10, 20 minutes. It's not that I don't want to come home. It's not that I don't love my family. I love my wife. I love my daughter. I love being around them. I love the home that we created, the safe space that we've created. But mentally, I've been so beat down that it doesn't matter how safe of a space this is. Doesn't matter how lovely we made this home. I'm still going to bring the bitterness from the outside world into my house. And I don't want to do that and take anything out on them, because they do not deserve that. How many brothers out there listening to me right now share that same sentiment? You're like, man, Trevor, I sure as hell agree where you coming. I get where you coming from, man, because I just been beat down so much, and I just man, I get home and I get so angry. The last thing we need to do is let what goes on the outside affect what goes on the inside. We got to get out of that cave, brothers. And I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to tell you it's easy. Because the thing about being in a cave, it's comfy in there sometimes. It's nice and dark and it's cool. And you get so comfortable in there. You get so complacent in there that you don't want to move forward. So just look at this story. So the angel of the Lord tells So he asked Elijah, he's like, what's going on? What are you doing here? And now Elijah starts telling all his problems to God. And if you know, I believe in the Most High more than anything in the world. Elijah starts telling all his problems to God, and he's like, God, I've been there I've done this and I've done that, and I'm the only one that stood up for you. I killed all the prophets of Baal with a sword. I'm the only one that's left, and now they want to kill me after I served you. And I could relate it to today's terms. You're like, God, I've been a good husband. I've been a good father. I provided a lifestyle for my family. I go to work. I'm the model employee. I do everything they ask me to do, and they still treat me like crap. What is going on? And God told Elijah, he said, you know what? Go, come out of the cave and go stand on the mountain. I got to talk to you. And I asked my brothers, when was the last time you talked to God? When was the last time you had a conversation with your Creator? I'm not talking about that guy or whatever they try to pass off as God. That blonde hair, blue-eyed person that they try to pass off as God. I'm talking about, when was the last time you talked to your Creator? The one that you sure enough know made you. And had a real conversation and say, I'm messed up. Brothers, can we be real enough to admit to God, if you believe? I mean, not everybody believes, but I'm coming from the point of a believer. But I tell God, I am messed up. I often say it. I'm like, I'm a piece of crap. It's like Elijah when he got in the presence, not Elijah, but Isaiah when he got in the presence of God, he said, "Woe is me, for I'm a wretch undone." It's like he came face to face with his Creator, and he realized just who he was. And the only way we can get out of that cave is we had to come face to face with our Creator. Now watch this. I have a friend that was a minister for a long time, longer than me. And he believes that it's all within you. So if you are of that mindset, when was the last time you looked yourself in the mirror? When was the last time you came face to face with yourself? When was the last time you looked yourself in the mirror and had an honest conversation? When was the last time you looked in the mirror and said, you know what? I'm just not happy. I'm not happy. I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to do. I'm making money. I'm able to pay my bills. I'm able to provide a lifestyle, but I'm not happy with myself. Me personally am not happy. When was the last time you admitted that? Now, if you're okay, everything's peaches and roses and peaches and cream, then this one's not for you. I hope you just listen to it long enough just so I could get the download, but if not, you could keep it moving. I'm talking to that brother right now that knows that he's in trouble. He's mentally frustrated. He's just messed up, and he's in his own head. That's the worst place to be, is in your own head. This is a plea to my brothers. This is a plea to my brothers to just come on out. Come on out. It's time to come out the cave. We've been dwelling in the cave a little too long. We've been cavemen for way too long. There's so much more that we could do There's so much more. Our families need us for so much more, and we're only giving them, we're putting on a good show because we can still function. We're like a functioning alcoholic. But what would happen if you came out of that cave and you were able to give your family the fullness? It's okay to admit that you need some help, man. Like I say, my cousin Kevin, he told me, man, his therapist, and you know us in the black community, we shun therapists because the minute you say a therapist, you think somebody's crazy. And I think right now you're crazy for not going. Sometimes you need to be able to talk to someone else. Fortunately, I've been in a position where people could talk to me and I could give good counsel to people. No, I don't have it all together, but I'm able to listen and give some wise counsel on certain situations. If you don't want to go spend the money and go to a therapist, I know therapists aren't cheap. You gotta find somebody that you can get some real counsel from, that can give you some real mental help, because this depression shit is real, man. This depression is taking our brothers out, man. This is not a myth anymore. This we always say, oh, I remember growing up when people would say that they were depressed, we'd laugh at them because we thought that it was something that they were making up. But man, when you live a little and the weight of the world just comes down on you, you realize just how real depression really is. You really realize it. That's why I plead with my brothers, man, get some help, man. You wonder why you go from woman to woman and you still can't find no peace. Come out of the cave. You have a different woman every day of the week and you still have no peace. You're able to buy all the cars, all the clothes. You can pop bottles every weekend, but you still go home depressed and broken. Your healing isn't in any of those things. Your healing is in coming out of that cave. And I know somebody will say, man, you know, they just don't listen to me. I want to tell you a story that I heard from T.D. Jakes a long time ago in one of his messages, and you know, regardless of how I feel, I will advise any man, if you haven't, to go listen to his message, Emotions. It's very good. He told a story in there that I think it was Jim Baker. Yeah, he told a story that Jim Baker told him. And it was essentially, I'm going to paraphrase it, that it was a salesman. He traveled he traveled all the time. He traveled so much that he was never in one place at one time, so for more than too long. So he couldn't sustain a relationship because he was always moving. He didn't have much family. So to keep himself company, he went and bought a bunch of exotic fish. I mean, and anybody who knows about exotic fish, you know those things can get pricey. So he bought a bunch of exotic fish, and he would talk to them while he was feeding them. He treated them like children because they were the only family that he had. And one night, it was cold, so he turned the thermostat up in the tank. And I don't know, something must have happened, a malfunction or something. So he wakes up in the morning and all the fish are dead. Now remember, this is like his family. This is the only family he has. He doesn't have any relationships, doesn't have any kids, doesn't have a wife, nothing, no family. He's looking at all these dead fish just bloated. And the man asked a question. He said, I wonder if in the middle of the night they screamed. and I didn't hear them screaming. Because our worlds are so different, I couldn't hear the cry. And man, brothers, I know sometimes you go through life and you feel like no one can hear us crying. We're crying, but it just seems like no one hears us cry. We go through life and we're being Superman for everybody else, but no one can hear our cries. I'm here to tell you there's hope. Wherever you find your hope, wherever you pull your strength from, you get to that source. Whether you believe in the Most High, whether you want to seek a therapist, whether you want to get in a support group, whatever you gotta do, get somewhere where they can hear your cry. Please, brothers, get somewhere where they can hear your cries before it's too late. We gotta get somewhere. There's work for us to do, but we can't keep doing our work broken. That's why we can never progress as a people, because the heads are so hurt. The head is hurting. And all we've been doing is taking medicine instead of getting to the root of the problem. You're just taking medicine. You don't realize that you got a big tumor pushing against your brain. You're just taking medicine. We got to get to the source of the problem. We got to stamp that depression out. We got to look that depression right in the face and say, I'm taking my life back. And then, only then, will we progress as a people to our fullest potential. I leave you with these words. Always seek out truth for yourself, because if not, you'll fall victim to other people's interpretations of them. And with that, I say peace.